In reality TV, what is after reality? More reality.
It involves suicide. It involves poison.
More trouble may be on the way.
We have a rare interview.
Lots of political news this morning.
A new era, though, of space travel may be near.
اطلعوا على آخر الأخبار والتطورات. Good Morning America من الاثنين إلى الجمعة في 2 والأحد في 3 بعد الظهر بتوقيت الرياض على أمريكا بلس.
أنا مش عايزة أقول لك إن أنت كنت السبب في فشل حياتي الزوجية.
عايز أعيش، عايز أتمتع.
أزمة، صحوة.
خطر دي يعني ولا إيه؟
أنا خايفة أوي.
لو حد سأل عليا قولي له في الجنة.
تعيش يا حبيبي بتاخد غيرها.
نور الشريف.
الحق يا ماما. ده فعلا بيتهدى.
في مسلسل عيش أيامك كل يوم في 9:30 صباحا على قناة المسلسلات.
مع اقتراب موعد الانتخابات الأمريكية أخذ السيناتور كيري يضيق الهوة بينه وبين الرئيس بوش. السباق متقارب جدا، وما من قناة في المنطقة ستغطي الانتخابات الأمريكية مثل أوربت نيوز. تقارير مباشرة، نشرات متلاحقة، تعليقات وآراء من أبرز المراسلين السياسيين والصحفيين المرموقين. اطلعوا على الصورة الكاملة لهذه اللحظة التاريخية بمصداقية ووضوح مع أوربت نيوز.
Next Monday to the Meadowlands we go as we take a look at the New York Jets with a record of 5-1. First loss yesterday coming against New England, against the Dolphins who were 0-6 and then shocked the Rams yesterday in Miami. Miami against the Jets on Monday night next week. Odd numbers for a scoring drive. They lost 11 yards in 4 plays, but Graham with a 53-yard field goal. And this kick is fielded at the 8-yard line by Quentin Griffin. Out to the 29, and the Denver Broncos will take over there with 5.5 minutes remaining in the opening half in Cincinnati, where the Bengals lead the Broncos 10-0. Consecutive seasons without a winning record, and they haven't given their fans any hope either. They've always started slowly. First Monday night appearance since '92, and that's amazing at the bottom right there. They haven't won a road game against a team with a winning record since 1990. That's 42 consecutive games. Drones with a flag down. But Mike Brown, he brought in Marvin Lewis to replace Dick LeBeau before last season. Went out and got Carson Palmer.
Holding 72 defense. We're going to add 5 yards to the end of the run. First down.
Carl Powell. So he brings Lewis in. They begin to show some signs of life. Last year, Marvin comes in after that 1-4 start. They wind up 8-8. Slow start again this year, but tonight playing very well, and they've squandered a couple of opportunities as well, but they still lead 10-0.
Right, and I think that's the thing that Mike Brown did, is he's going to do something about it, and Marvin Lewis is at something about it, and Carson Palmer, they believe, is one of those guys that's going to be here and the starting quarterback, and a great one for a long, long time.
Drones tackled by Powell, and it's interesting because the Bengals have a reputation, and when you have no success for that long a period of time, people say bad franchise, don't pay, you don't want to go there. And Carson Palmer said when he knows he's going to Cincinnati, he hears all of that, but then he comes here and he said, wait a second, the facilities are first rate. Mike Brown's paying him a lot of money, so he doesn't think Mike Brown is cheap. He liked Lewis, and he says, I'm very happy here. He said, I think this is going to work out extremely well for me.
And Marvin Lewis went through a lot of those things, those same things himself.
2nd and 4. Plummer chased, and he just throws it away. Wayne Clemens was the guy chasing him.
That's the thing, is when you play a Jake Plummer and you're the end man on the line of scrimmage, as Dwayne Clemens is here, you know that you have to stay at home. I mean, if you're here and if he starts away, you have to keep your containment. In fact, he ran right out of the screen. But he has to get, as they go, he has to get up the field. He can't pursue from behind.
Meanwhile, if Marvin Lewis needs another receiver, he should just activate himself. That's pretty good. He's got the sheath of papers, the whole thing. He reaches up, makes the catch.
Now that is an athlete.
That's an athlete. 3rd down and 4. And that is caught by Darius Watts with a flag thrown.
You know, the Broncos are just setting up some of this 3 wide receiver stuff.
Personal foul, number 92 of the defense, unnecessary roughness. Will add 15 yards to the end of the run. First down.
That's Dwayne Clemens after they pick up a first down, 15 more.
Yeah, Clemens was the guy that had that good contain on the bootleg on the play before. He probably got a little frustrated that he didn't get Jake Plummer and was going to get someone on the next play.
Clemens, former Viking. 1st and 10, now ball at the 20-yard line. Broncos with 145 total yards in the half, but a 0 on the board. Drones. He picks up 5 yards. He works off a Patrick Haight block. And Drones, coming off those 2 spectacular games, has now carried the ball 13 times for 52 yards, exactly 4 yards per carry.
And you know what they're doing here, and Mike Shanahan talked about this. They want to go 3 wide receivers on early downs, get them to play nickel or 5 defensive backs, and then run the ball to Drones. And that's the 6th time that they've done it so far. Run out of 3 wide receivers against nickel defense.
Well, here's 3 wide again on 2nd down and 5. Quick flip, caught out in the flat by Darius Watts, and he's tackled by James 2 yards shy of the first down. Key 3rd down coming up here with 3 minutes to go in the half.
The good thing about running out of 3 wide receivers running the ball is you get to see their adjustments in their coverages, so you can decide when you want to go to a pass. You know about how they're covering you most of the time.
Watts a little shaken as he walked off, trotted off. 3rd and a deuce. From the 12. They let Drones do it, and he does it. And he takes it inside the 5, and the Sudden Star picks up a first down. It'll be 1st and goal after a 9-yard gain, and very quietly but effectively, Drones has a 61-yard first half at this point.
And he's keeping it play side, and this is just taking the ball downhill. You see the zone blocking to the right. He just takes it. He just runs off those blocks. As he says, not a lot of moves. He gets the ball downhill, no moves, runs straight ahead, and tries to find someone to run over. Those guys he's going to run over, they're getting down now.
2-minute warning. Cincinnati 10, Denver nothing.
Welcome to a world where the students become the masters. A world where high achievement isn't just an expression. A world where the stars rise up in the sky. Welcome to the wonderful world of college football on Orbit ESPN.
من الجمعة إلى الثلاثاء إنهما أكثر من صديقين.
I'm here for you. Just like you're always here for me.
What do you need?
Have you guys gotten any of those messages from Grace? Blah, blah, blah. Love you.
وأقل من حبيبين. لا تفوتوا الموسم الجديد من الكوميديا الحائزة على جائزة أمي ويلينج جريس.
Everybody from the Matrix called. They want their coat back.
من الجمعة إلى الثلاثاء.
How was your flight?
I live in Brooklyn. I took the subway.
في 10:30 مساء بتوقيت الرياض فقط على السوبر كوميدي.
Getting married is a big step.
Oh my God.
But the biggest challenge
I can't find my underwear. Can I mail them to you? Yes.
What is going on here?
is making it to the altar.
Yes, I wanted.
Apologize for the other night, Owen, for never mentioning that you were marrying my cousin.
If there is anyone here today who believes that these two should not be joined, and it doesn't even have to be a good reason, you know.
It's all about a guy thing. Wednesday at these local times, new and exclusive on Super Movies.
أجمل اللحظات الرياضية خلال نوفمبر على أوربت. الدوري السعودي له جاذبية قوية بين جميع عشاق كرة القدم. دوري كرة القدم الأمريكية يزداد منافسة مباراة بعد أخرى. حماس الدوري الهولندي لا يعرف الراحة. أفضل 8 لاعبي تنس يلتقون في الدور النهائي لبطولة الماسترز في هيوستن. الدوري الفرنسي يتجلى في أروع صوره. منتخبات أمريكا الجنوبية تتابع سعيها وراء حجز بطاقتها إلى كأس العالم 2006. نوفمبر على أوربت، عالم من الرياضة.
In a World Series Game 3 preview.
First down and goal, 2 minutes to play. First half. 10-0 Bengals. Jake Plummer from the 3-yard line. Drones is the running back. Fake to Drones. A roll, and then the pass is hauled in by Smith, and he's inbounds, touchdown. Rod Smith with the catch. The coverage by the rookie Williams, who was all over him, but Smith sure-handed, gets both feet in, touchdown.
They were making him think run. They put an extra tackle in there. Here you're going to see Rod Smith. He's right on the end of the line. He starts in like he's going to get blocked, gets lost for a little while, and then comes right back out to the corner. Rod Smith, instead of being as a split wide receiver, he was lined up in a tight end location.
28 minutes and change into the game. The Broncos finally get on the scoreboard. Elam for the point after. And with 1:53 to play in the opening half, Cincinnati is now up by 3.
Italian football match day 8 coverage continues on ESPN as AC Milan takes on Atalanta. Milan has bounced back from a slow start this season with 3 straight wins and a draw versus Inter Milan. Atalanta still looking for that elusive first win of the season. That in our Latin American audience and our worldwide audience. Check the time in your area.
The period between 1970, 1999. Moved in here in 2000. Champ Bailey's had some first half. What a storyline that was. Gets burned and then atones.
Right, the Bengals were going after him, and not only going after him, they're going after him deep. Here we see Chad Johnson makes a little move on him. Champ Bailey falls down. Chad Johnson gets the touchdown. Now look, he's backing off. He looks in, then he looks back. He sees a slant, and he jumps it, or he beats Chad Johnson to the point. That was pretty good. He's looking in at Carson Palmer. Then he looks back at Chad Johnson, sees he's running a slant, and then he runs the slant for him.
Mike Anor kicking off. 11-yard line. Cliff Russell. Back he comes to the 32-yard line. Loses the ball, but it's, I think, for the moment I thought it was whistle dead, but now let's see. Now you've got a little scrum.
I don't even know where the ball is. I think the ball's back here.
It is back there, and Cincinnati has it. So Russell lost the ball, but winds up on top of it to retain possession. Another look.
Yeah, he does. Look, it's coming out there out of his right hand. He tries to get it with his left hand. Then he loses it and then brings it back in, it looks like.
Sam Brandon is the guy who hit him to jar it loose, but Cincinnati has it at the 32-yard line.
The Broncos are hanging in there. I mean, it seems like everything has been going the Bengals' way. I mean, they've had field position, they've had opportunities, and the Broncos just stay there, keep playing, keep playing, keep playing.
Palmer with 5 receivers, and that pass was deflected. Kenny Watson was the intended receiver, and it appeared that Kenoy Kennedy got a hand on it. 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, and I think what the Bengals did early is coming out and throwing deep against those blitzes. I think that's taken a little off of this Denver defense. I mean, they know, we have to watch out. I mean, they are going to throw the ball deep. They're not just going to try and dink and dunk on us.
And the Bengals out of the shotgun. Palmer flanked by 2 backs, and a little shovel pass here to Kenny Watson, and Watson is taken down. And John, you think about it. I mean, here's Cincinnati playing very well, but the lead could be a lot bigger. They had a 4th down at the 5-yard line and couldn't convert early on. They had that Bailey interception. I mean, the Bengals could have 20 or 24 points on the board by now.
Yeah, I know what Marvin Lewis was thinking, though. He's thinking, you know, that we're not supposed to win this game. We're 1-4. And he kept talking all night last night. We need spark. We need something to spark this team, to get us going. And I think that 4th down play, he was looking for a spark there.
They were sparked to that point, and he tried to keep it going, and now they give it to Watson on a running play, and he's taken down by Anton Palapoy. And timeout is taken here by Denver because they're going to get the ball back. Talking about Champ Bailey, a little bit more about him.
More Italian football coming your way here on ESPN on Thursday as Juventus takes on AS Roma. Check the time in your area. The world ESPN is your home for Italian football. Let's get you back out to the final moments of the second quarter. Broncos and Bengals on Monday Night Football from Cincinnati.
Bailey for Portis, and that was as big a 1-for-1 trade as this league has seen in a long time.
You know, like Larry Coyer was saying, that, you know, once you have a cover corner, you can do so many other things with your defense, and indirectly it helps your run because you can bring a safety up. You can have 8 men in the box. You can blitz. You can do those kinds of things that you can't do if you have to protect your corners.
One rookie punch to another. Kyle Larson, rookie out of Nebraska. Triandos Luke, rookie from Alabama, back to receive the kick. Luke's going to call for a fair catch and hauls it in at the 16-yard line. So the Broncos will start from that spot. They have 2 timeouts remaining and 49 seconds as they try to go to 6-1 in the AFC West.
This is going to be a big series right here because the Bengals have good field position here if their defense can do something. This is where, you know, you want to put pressure on Jake Plummer. You want to get him to throw you one. You want to get a turnover. Get some momentum changer right here because if you do, you're going to have great field position.
And the Bengals have owned that battle tonight. As you can see, they've been starting near midfield, and the average start for Denver, its own 13. They start this drive from the 15, and they begin with a draw to Reuben Drones. And Drones, look at him moving the pile, picking up a couple of extra yards, gets it out there to the 24 for a 9-yard gain. And Denver has to take a timeout here. And Reuben Drones has carried the ball now for 70 yards, 15 totes.
You know, one thing, if I were defending Reuben Drones, I would never give him a soft middle. I mean, I think that he's not going to run to the outside. He's not going to be a speed guy going out there, but you better protect that inside. You better not have a soft middle, and the Bengals were soft in the middle. Watch this right here. You see, you get here, you get this tackle playing out. The Mike is playing off, and they give him the soft middle right there. And I don't know when you have a Reuben Drones back there that you ever give him that kind of a middle.
Well, nobody wants a soft middle. I mean, you want a 6-pack. You don't want a soft middle.
Well, yeah, but you know what you're doing. The reason they gave him a soft middle is because they're playing pass. I mean, you know, the Mike is back. He's worried about getting into pass defense. The defensive line is trying to rush the passer, and sometimes that will equate to soft middle.
Soft middle is just not a good combination in anything in life. 2nd down and 1 from the 24-yard line. Here's Drones, who loses the ball. The Bengals have it at the 39-yard line. Medill Williams is able to recover it. So Drones fighting for that extra yardage. And Reuben on his way to what he had hoped would be a 1st down. Loses the football, and Cincinnati will have it at the end here.
And the Bengals have all 3 of their timeouts. It was Brian Simmons, number 56, that comes in and strips it. You're going to see him right there. You see, grab it with his left hand, and as Drones is starting to spin, Brian Simmons, it just spins the ball right out of his hands. See there, he starts to spin. Now watch him start to spin. Simmons starts to spin as Drones spins.
First career fumble. He's handled the ball a little bit more than 200 times. And this one will go against Cincinnati.
Ball start. 89 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
John said they have all of their timeouts, and they don't need much to get into field goal range, and we have already seen Graham kick a 53-yarder.
And this Bengal defense has really been aggressive tonight. That was the thing. They had to make a play down there. They made the play, got the turnover. Now the offense has to make a play.
From the 43-yard line. Palmer over the middle. That is caught. That'll be a first down, and an immediate timeout will be called by Cincinnati as Kelly Washington, second-year receiver out of Tennessee, makes the catch.
You know, and that's a great thing about saving all your timeouts for the end of the half and the end of the game. You can do these kinds of things. You can throw the ball to the inside. You don't have to worry about running up there and spike it. You can, as you just called, you can take an immediate timeout. Good pass protection, good pass by Carson Palmer. And then call the timeout right now. Or right now.
Right now.
That's what I meant.
Play only took 7 seconds. They have 2 timeouts. They're already in field goal range for Graham. And Palmer tonight is 6 out of 10 for 131 yards and 116 yards receiving for Chad Johnson on 4 catches.
I would think the way the Denver Broncos have been playing defense tonight, that these are going to be blitz-type situations for him.
Looking to his left, throwing, and that's going to take it inside the 15. TJ Hushmanzada makes the catch, and timeout taken here with 14 seconds, and they still have 1 remaining.
And another great example of having your timeouts. Now I think you want to throw the ball to the end zone now. I mean, you still have 1 timeout for your field goal, so you don't have to throw it in the end zone. And the good thing about it, the receiver Hushmanzada, when he catches the ball here, he doesn't have to worry about getting out of bounds again because you have timeout. He can try and get as much yardage, and in trying to get yardage, once in a while you break those things.
Hushmanzada and Chad Johnson both played college ball together at Oregon State. Ball at the 14.
Chad Johnson is down here at the bottom. Champ Bailey is on him. I would think that Chad Johnson would expect one here.
Instead, Palmer looks the other way, and that is knocked away in the end zone. Willie Middlebrooks with the coverage on Kelly Washington. So he has Chad to the left, goes immediately to the right. You've got 9 seconds and 2nd down and 10.
And I think you take another shot to the end zone. You know, he did look over here at Chad Johnson, but he was double teamed. I mean, Champ Bailey was on him, and he had double coverage, so he knew he had single coverage over here, so that's where he's going to go. I mean, you get one-on-one, you just throw it up in the end zone. You're not going to get many better opportunities than that.
Slow in getting the play in, and they have to take a timeout. So you had a situation here where Marvin Lewis didn't want to take the timeout. The clock had stopped. If you hold on to that last timeout, you can take it after a sack. You can take it if the guy doesn't get into the end zone. But they were slow in getting the play and the personnel grouping in, so he's compelled to use the timeout.
Yeah, and that's a big thing there. I mean, I don't know that I wouldn't have taken the 5-yard penalty. I think sometimes you can do that. I mean, here you're in the passing down. Why not take the 5-yard penalty? Because you still are going to take a shot at the end zone, but save that timeout for your field goal.
Yeah, when I say compelled, he felt as if he had to use it because there was confusion. But if you think about it, you're exactly right. Just take. Apparently, they're not going to charge them with a timeout. I don't know why. There might have been a play clock problem, but they just reset the play clock. So they still have it. They run a draw play to Kenny Watson. That's a very odd call. And now they take a timeout.
Well, again, if you have a timeout, you can do that, but I don't know how they got 4 timeouts.
Well, what happened is, and we're trying to get an explanation from the guys upstairs. You saw Lewis call the timeout. Apparently there was a play clock problem or malfunction. They reset the play clock. They wind up with the timeout, which they have to use after a very curious call.
Well, I think once he had that timeout, then he figured, you know, I can still run the ball and try and pop one here, but I agree with you that if you're going to take your shots. I mean, you're 1-4. You want a spark. You just throw the ball into the end zone.
Especially what he did before, because they went for it on a 4th down. So this is the 3rd time they've been deep in Denver territory. They had a chance to come away with 21 points, and now they're going to be lucky to wind up with 3. They're telling us now the play clock had been set incorrectly.
Right, and Mike Shanahan is calling Bernie Kukar over. He took a timeout. The timeout now is Denver's timeout, and Mike is asking him, how did they get 4 timeouts?
And Kukar is telling him what we are being told, that the play clock had been set incorrectly. But you can see the Bengals were still confused as to the personnel grouping and what the play call might have been. And Shanahan is saying, come on.
And remember the rule this year is the coach can call the timeout from the sideline. So when Marvin Lewis calls a timeout, it used to be that when a coach would call a timeout, he was signaling his players to call a timeout.
Exactly. And it was very clear that Lewis was calling the timeout, but wasn't charged with it. And now the Bengals will attempt a 34-yard field goal. Shane Graham, who earlier kicked a 53-yarder. Kyle Larson to hold it, to try to make it a 6-point game at the half. Ooh. Just good. Just good. Home run just inside the foul pole. And that's the way the half will end, with Cincinnati about a 1-touchdown underdog, up by 6. You've been sacked. Coming up, a look at the Pats and the Eagles as well on the Toyota halftime show when we come back after this message from the NFL and a word from more ABC stations.
الدوري الهولندي هو الموطن والكرة الشاملة هي المدرسة. هم ابتدعوها وأوربت تنقلها لكم، التغطية الكاملة للكرة الشاملة. الدوري الهولندي يبث حاليا حصريا على الرياضيات.
اهلا وسهلا بيكم في ارضي كفر سويري.
احلى مره في حياتي اسمع فيها اسم.
في حد في المكتب بيخون.
ده خاين.
الخيانه دي من ناس تبعك.
مسعد ده بيخونك.
على جثتي لو ده حصل. بلاش العلاقه بيني وبينه تبتدي بخطر.
محمود المصري.
يا ربي. انا محمود المصري.
موعدكم معه كل يوم في الأوقات التالية على قناة المسلسلات.
Myth, a legend. And if he's still living, he's the one you want.
And I guess I have no choice but to kill you all.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico, coming soon on TV Max.
This is SportsCenter in-game. Manchester United's Ruud van Nistelrooy was charged by the English Football Association with a breach of FA Rule E3 for serious foul play. The Dutch striker appeared to deliberately stomp on. Manchester United announced it had ended talk with U.S. sports tycoon Malcolm Glazer, saying his takeover proposal risked leaving the club mired in debt. Glazer, owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is the second largest shareholder in Manchester United. He had built up a stake of 28% in the world's richest football club. News of Glazer's interest in United has been fiercely opposed by United supporters, believing that, like the club, that the tycoon has insufficient funds. Italian Serie A leader Juventus are planning to sell the name of their new stadium to a sponsor. The 27 times Italian champs plan to rebuild their Della Alpi Stadium in the next 2 years. The revamped stadium will hold 30 to 40,000 people in and the athletics track will be removed to bring fans closer to the pitch. The Juventus also hopes 200 executive boxes with space for 2,000 guests will help to boost revenue. In NFL news, Mike Allstott will be sidelined at least a month after spraining the medial collateral ligament in his right knee during Tampa's victory over the Bears. Allstott, who missed most of last season after undergoing surgery for a career-threatening neck injury, was hurt late in the third quarter when he was tackled for a 4-yard loss by Bears linebacker Hunter Hillenmeyer, landing awkwardly beneath a pile. And finally, the World Series will now shift to St. Louis for Game 3 of the 100th Fall Classic. The Red Sox will send Pedro Martinez to the mound. He'll face former Red Sox Suppan. The Cards dropped the first 2 games at Fenway Park, despite Boston committing a total of 8 errors. But St. Louis has been red hot in the postseason at home, going 6-0 so far. You can watch every game of the World Series live here on ESPN, so check your local listings. And also check your local listings each and every night for your next edition of Sports Center. In some areas, you'll see it immediately following tonight's Monday Night Football matchup. And that Monday night matchup between the Broncos and the Bengals is going Cincinnati's way after 2 quarters. A 13-7 Bengals lead over the Broncos. First half highlights are coming up.
الدوري الهولندي في بث مباشر وحصري على الرياضية. في إطار الجولة العاشرة يستضيف FC أوترخت نظيره PSV أيندهوفن في مواجهة مثيرة يريدها أيندهوفن للبقاء بالصدارة وأوترخت للاقتراب من القمة. تابعوا لقاء أوترخت وأيندهوفن الجمعة في الأوقات التالية على الرياضية.
مباشرة من نيويورك.
This morning, showdown.
The next chapter in reality TV. What is after reality? More reality.
It involves suicide. It involves poison.
More trouble may be on the way. We have a rare interview.
Lots of political news this morning.
A new era, though, of space travel may be near.
اطلعوا على آخر الأخبار والتطورات. Good Morning America من الاثنين إلى الجمعة في 2 والأحد في 3 بعد الظهر بتوقيت الرياض على أمريكا بلس.
في شهر رمضان على قناة المسلسلات. عاش أيامك مع نور الشريف. يحيى الفخراني في عباس الأبيض في اليوم الأسود.
طب أنا بقى هخليك تعرف كل حاجة.
مشوار امرأة مع نادية الجندي. يا ورد مين يشتريك مع سميرة أحمد. محمود المصري مع محمود عبد العزيز.
ما تفكرني مقصوصة جناحين وما بحسن طير.
الخيط الأبيض مع جمال سليمان.
ليش تكرهني كل هالقد؟ أنا شو عملت لك؟
تلتقون مع حسين فهمي في أصحاب المقام الرفيع ومع يسرى في مسلسل لقاء على الهواء. رمضان على قناة المسلسلات شهر من المسلسلات الجديدة.
Moment 39, another twist of torture for the Red Sox. Aaron Boone batting, bottom of the 11th, Game 7, 2003 ALCS. He swings a long high drive down the left field line. It's over. Aaron Boone has homered on the first pitch from Wakefield, and the Yankees have won the pennant.
One week from tonight, Monday Night Football on ESPN. The Miami Dolphins, fresh off their first victory this season, will be at the Meadowlands to take on the New York Jets. This has been a heated rivalry for decades between two division foes. Don't miss it. Chad Pennington and the Jets having a spectacular season, although coming off a loss that occurred today, rather yesterday. Well, Broncos and Bengals, a little bit of a surprise here. Bengals with 1 win on the season. The Broncos with only 1 loss, but it has been all Cincinnati in the first half here, Monday Night Football, a 13-7 Bengals advantage. Let's go back to the first quarter with Carson Palmer. Pump fake And going upstairs to Chad Johnson all alone for the 50-yard touchdown reception. How did he get that wide open? Let's take a look. Champ Bailey slipped there and turned him loose. Easiest touchdown grab Chad Johnson ever had, a 7-0 lead. And then on a 4th and 1, Cincinnati was looking for more. They were stopped at the 5-yard line, and Denver taking over. Here's a look at Tony Williams getting hurt here. He is going to get cut block. Watch, 72 taking out 94. A left knee injury, and Williams was carted off the field. Later on the drive, Ruben Drones. Tough running here, but short of the first down. It would set up a 49-yard field goal attempt that normally reliable Jason Elam can't hit that one. He hooks it, so Cincinnati was still up 7-0. Second quarter, Carson Palmer again looking deep. Again, it's Chad Johnson. 50 yards again. This time, though, he doesn't quite get into the end zone, but it sets up the Bengals 1st and 10 deep in Denver territory. Palmer looking for Johnson again, but off the back foot, got nothing on it. Picked off by Champ Bailey. So the Denver defense holds. But Plummer can't cash in. A couple of plays later, he's looking for some big yardage. Picked up by former Bronco Delta O'Neal. Takes it back inside the 25. That's set up, well, a minus 11-yard drive for Cincinnati, if you can believe it. But Shane Graham bailed him out with a 53-yard field goal to make it a 10-0 lead with 5:35 to play in the second quarter. Finally, Denver got something going. Off the play action on the rollout, Plummer finds Rod Smith. Great catch for the 3-yard touchdown. And the lead was down to 10-7. The Broncos were thinking about getting some more just before the half, but Ruben Drones, after a nice game, first down yardage, but he lost the football. Cincinnati recovering and would have a chance to add some points in the final seconds just before halftime. They would bring on Shane Graham again, this time just a 34-yarder just inside the left upright, to give Cincinnati the 6-point lead at 13-7, which they now enjoy. Well, we talked about how tough the Broncos defense is this season, but you know, they've given up as many passing yards in the first half to Cincinnati as they averaged for an entire game coming in. So the Broncos defense being challenged by Cincinnati, but maybe more important, the Cincinnati defense is slowing down the Denver Broncos. Broncos managing just that one touchdown, one score in the first half. Can Carson Palmer and the Bengals keep things going? We'll find out when we come back in the third quarter.
منافسات الدوري السعودي تتواصل مباشرة على أوربت. الأربعاء على الرياضية تشاهدون فريق النصر الذي سيسعى لصدارة الدوري وهو يحاول افتراس فريق أحد الذي يتأرجح على حافة الهاوية. أما على أوربت ESPN فموعدكم مع اللقاء المنتظر بين الأهلي القوي والشباب المتصدر. هل سينجح قلعة الكؤوس في التصدي للليث الأبيض؟ أقوى المباريات وأشهر النجوم تتألق في سماء أوربت.
Go on, do it. Come on. Make up your mind.
Try it.
Do it.
Do it.
What are you waiting for?
Come on. Come on.
Pick up the phone and order an exclusive premiere. It will be delivered straight to your home. Call your local TV Max number. TV Max, your home movie theater.
Call.
هل تقلق أحياناً حول ما يشاهده أطفالك في غيابك؟ تكنولوجيا أوربت المتقدمة توفر لك دوراً فعالاً في الإشراف على ما يشاهدونه بواسطة خيارات خدمة الإشراف العائلي المضاعفة الجديدة والمطورة التي تسمح لك بوضع قيود على ما يمكن مشاهدته على جميع قنوات أوربت والقنوات المفتوحة. ما عليك سوى الضغط على زر منيو في جهاز التحكم وإضاءة Settings. اختر Parental Control ثم أدخل الرمز الشخصي الخاص بك والمؤلف من 4 أعداد. إذا كان لم يسبق لك أن استعملت رمزاً شخصياً من قبل، اتبع إجراءات تسجيل الرمز الشخصي وتأكد من تذكره في المستقبل. لقفل قناة أضئ By Channel Lock واختر القنوات التي تود قفلها. لقفل أي برنامج أضئ By Program Rating واختر مستوى التصنيف المرغوب مفعلاً اختيارك عبر جميع قنوات أوربت والقنوات المفتوحة أيضاً. أكد كل خطوة بالضغط على زر أوكي في جهاز التحكم. تحكم بمستقبلك. أوربت دائماً في الريادة.
Cincinnati, Al Michaels, John Madden, and Michelle Tafoya. 6-point game. Bengals on top 13-7 as we begin the third quarter. Champ Bailey got burned a couple of times and then had an interception, so he's been in the middle of the action. Jake Plummer, 10 out of 18 for 91 yards. And Shane Graham to kick off. Quentin Griffin, who had been the starting running back, and then he hurt his ankle, and that gave Drones the opportunity. Griffin is back to return the kick. And Quentin fields it at the 12-yard line. And gets taken down. That's a nice special teams play by Reggie Miles at the 24-yard line. Griffin is still down, and here's Michelle.
I spoke to both coaches at halftime. For Mike Shanahan, Al, the theme was playing up to our capability. He said Cincinnati came out with a higher level of intensity. The Broncos weathered the storm, and now he wants them to see them play up to their capability, specifically be more consistent on offense. For Marvin Lewis, the theme was let's get back to basics. He wants to see his offensive running game getting going, and he also wants his defense to tackle better. Al, he does not want to see his defense give up a big play over their heads.
Which they did last week. In fact, they gave up a 99-yard touchdown pass last week in Cleveland. From the 24-yard line, Drones, who ended the first half with a fumble, takes it up to the 31. That's a gain of 7 yards for Reuben Drones. Take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes. Michelle talking about Marvin Lewis not happy with his running game, only 33 yards there. Broncos turning it over twice. Broncos with a slight advantage in total yardage.
You know, the Broncos haven't thrown a ball to a tight end yet. I bet that's one of the things that Mike Shanahan is talking about. He used a lot of 3 wide receivers for his running game, but I think somewhere he's going to be able to get a tight end in there.
And we talk about Carswell with a 1-game suspension. That's tipped and deflected and almost intercepted. Intended for Lally. It was Landon Johnson, the rookie linebacker from Purdue, who got a hand on it. And then Torrey James looked like he was going to pick it off and couldn't, and he comes up pointing to his hamstring.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign for a corner when that happens. When he does anything for a hamstring, you better get him out of there. Look at the time that Jake Plummer has. As you said, Landon Johnson just get in there. You know, it seems like we're talking about a soft middle, and one of the reasons for a soft middle is middle linebackers are getting deeper and deeper in pass coverage.
They still keep James in there with that, and you can see him hobbling. And on 3rd down and 4, Plummer throws over the middle, and that was tipped, and it was incomplete, intended for Rod Smith. Well, that's one of those situations where you would think you're seeing a guy, a cornerback, and he was limping around, and they didn't even look in that direction.
Right, and he had to be man-to-man because they come on an overload blitz. And here's Torrey James out here, number 20. Yeah, and there's no way he could cover anyone.
Never gave him a look.
But I think that if you're going to go after him, you have to know that he's hurt, and you have to go after him deep.
Whistle before the snap.
Good practice kick. I used to always tell my punter to do that. If they whistle and blow it dead, just take one just to warm up. You know, it's like golf.
45 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That was mainly Ray Guy, too.
Right, yeah. I'd always tell him just boom one like a warm-up. You know, like in golf, if you could hit one and then come back and hit another one, you'd always hit the second one better.
Yeah.
There's Torrey James, and that's a play right there as he goes up and he comes down. That could be the play that he hurt his hamstring.
Former Bronco.
But he has too much of a smile on his face to really have a pulled hamstring.
Or a mini grimace. That's a bad kick. But it's going to turn out to be a very decent kick. So he didn't hit it. Looked like a mini shank, and all of a sudden with the roll and the bounce and staying in bounds, 47 yards from Micah Noor. They work on Griffin early in the third quarter.
هل تريدون معرفة كل شيء عن واحد من أفضل اللاعبين المصريين؟ هل تحبون كرة القدم المثيرة؟ هل تحبون معرفة المزيد عن ناديه الجديد وحياته في هولندا؟ فلا تفوتوا إذن مشاهدة مغامرة غالي كل جمعة بعد جمعة فقط على الرياضية.
هل هل تعاني من بطء الإنترنت؟ إذن فاستعد لسرعة جديدة تتجاوز حدود ما تخيلته ممكنا. أوربت ساتنت، إنترنت ثنائي الاتجاه عبر القمر الصناعي، توفر لك إنترنت مباشر وغير محدود، أسرع ب10 20 30 إلى 50 مرة من الإنترنت العادي حسب رغبتك. لا حاجة لخط أو لدفع فاتورة الهاتف، وبأسعار منافسة لاستخدام غير محدود 24 ساعة في اليوم 7 أيام في الأسبوع مع دعم تقني على مدار الساعة. أوربت ساتنت، سرعة لا تصدق.
للمزيد من المعلومات اتصلوا بوكيل أوربت المحلي أو زوروا موقع الإنترنت www.orbitsatnet.com.
Which crosses the Ohio River, connecting Ohio and Kentucky, and it's called Suspension Bridge. It actually was provided the blueprint for the Brooklyn Bridge, and now you back off here and you look at beautiful downtown Cincinnati, lit up tonight for Monday Night Football.
You know, don't you look at those things like the suspension bridge and wonder how the guy ever come up with the idea?
Amazing.
I mean, that has to be genius.
Doug Griffin is taken back to the locker room. Of course, the stadium, this stadium, and the Red Stadium, the Great American Ballpark, located right on the riverfront. 27-yard line. Palmer under pressure, sprinting to the outside, and he'll step out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. Speaking of the bridge, many ways to travel over the river. That's one of them.
Have you ever done that?
I have been over that bridge many times.
No, I mean in one of these things here.
In Central Park, not across the suspension bridge. Now, have you ever done that?
No, never have, never will.
Different kind of Madden Cruiser right there. No, but now wait, you're not afraid to get in that, right?
No, I'm not afraid of it.
That's kind of the original horse trailer.
If I did anything, I would be pulling it rather than riding in it.
Second down and 6 from the 32. And Johnson takes it up to the 34, where he's tackled by Reggie Howard.
How'd you like to be a horse and see me coming and getting on? I want to go back to the barn.
Well, the Clydesdales, I mean, we've seen them.
Yeah, but those horses aren't Clydesdales.
Star track for the Cincinnati Bengals. Palmer, 144, most of those to Chad Johnson. As you can see, 4 catches for him. Rudy Johnson averaging less than 3 yards per carry. Bengals trying to get the running game going, and you get another flag here before the snap.
I like what Cincinnati did early, and I think they ought to do the same thing early in the second half here, is go deep.
84 offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Because that really throws a defense off. I think if you're going short and you keep things in front of them, they get very, very confident and they start creeping up. I think if you just go deep and just unload on them, and that's the way the Bengals started this game, you just unload on them a few times, then they're always back. That John Lynch, instead of getting up there, he's thinking about getting that. Champ Bailey starting to get up. Those kinds of things.
Bushman-Zada whistling for the last foul, 3rd down and 9. Palmer from the gun. Lynch is going to blitz, and he throws it in that direction, and it's caught by Chad Johnson, who gets taken down inbounds at the 33-yard line, and they're forced to punt. Champ Bailey with the coverage.
Yeah, and that's just the opposite of what I was thinking of. The Broncos bring 8 on this play, so you know what? You know that you have man-to-man. Watch, I mean, they got this whole load coming from this side, and I think that's some kind of a hot read. When he sees that, he's just going to get it out there to Chad Johnson, but then Champ Bailey, a very, very good tackler, isn't going to let him get a first down.
And on 4th down, Triandos Luke is back to accept the Kyle Watson kick, which he does at the 24. An excellent coverage again by the Bengals, led by Marcus Wilkins. Early 3rd quarter. Cincinnati on top, 13-7 on a beautiful night in Southern Ohio.
أجمل اللحظات الرياضية خلال نوفمبر على أوربت. الدوري السعودي له جاذبية قوية بين جميع عشاق كرة القدم. دوري كرة القدم الأمريكية يزداد منافسة مباراة بعد أخرى. حماس الدوري الهولندي لا يعرف الراحة. أفضل 8 لاعبي تنس يلتقون في الدور النهائي لبطولة الماسترز في هيوستن. الدوري الفرنسي يتجلى في أروع صوره. منتخبات أمريكا الجنوبية تتابع سعيها وراء حجز بطاقتها إلى كأس العالم 2006. نوفمبر على أوربت، عالم من الرياضة.
خد موقف يا أخي.
احنا مش لازم نعمل فيها ابطال.
يعني لما يكون في جريمة وفساد مش هطبطب على حد.
وانت مالك ايه؟ انت اللي هتغيري نظام الكون؟ دي معاملة علينا ولا ايه؟
هو في غير أهو ده الكلام.
مسلسل لقاء على الهواء طوال شهر رمضان كل يوم في 12:30 بعد الظهر على قناة المسلسلات.
مباشرة من نيويورك.
This morning, showdown.
The next chapter in reality TV. What is after reality? More reality.
It involves suicide. It involves poison.
More trouble may be on the way. We have a rare interview.
Lots of political news this morning.
A new era, though, of space travel may be near.
اطلعوا على آخر الأخبار والتطورات. Good morning America من الاثنين إلى الجمعة في 2 والأحد في 3 بعد الظهر بتوقيت الرياض على أمريكا بلس.
Join ESPN for live coverage of the 2004 World Series. Two of baseball's most storied franchises meet in game number 3 as Pedro Martinez and the Boston Red Sox travel to St. Louis for games 3, 4, and 5 if necessary. The World Series, see it all here on ESPN as Boston tries to get that first World Series championship since 1918.
25-yard line, first down. Drones and just pushes his way up to the 30. Here's Michelle.
Al, Bengals defensive tackle Tony Williams is out for the season. Remember, he got injured in the first half, that left ankle. It is a fractured dislocation of his left ankle. He's scheduled for surgery Wednesday, but out for the season. As for Denver, Quentin Griffin, a right knee sprain. He is done for tonight, but very bad news for Cincinnati's defense, Al.